Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on New Zealand Sports Radio. And I know I didn't share that properly, so you didn't hear the little intro jingle there from Stephen from the Deep South, but never mind. I will get it right as soon. It's working with new tech and we're trying new things out. So welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Monday, the 24th of August. Let's hope we all have a great start to the week. We've got updates today from the A-League. The Champions League final kicks off. It should be kicking off right this second. Pakistan fight back in the cricket. The Warriors keep their playoff hopes alive. It really is a weekend of underdogs keeping things going because world number 304 wins in the LPGA. And Danny Lee is going well in the PGA Golf. We had over in the ANZ Premiership Championship final, though, we did have a strong win for the favourite. The Thunder keep their series alive. The Indy 500 is underway and is racing right now. And Scott McLaughlin has a fantastic weekend in Darwin. This is your best way to start the day, up to speed, with all the important sports news. And I should say speed, obviously, because we're talking about motor racing there, wasn't I? But let's kick off with the football. And the Brisbane Roar lost to Western United by 0-1 goals. So that means the two lower seed teams have gone through to have won the elimination finals. Remember, Phoenix lost to Perth Glory on Saturday, and then the Raw have lost to Western United on Sunday. That means that the semi-finals will be Sydney FC versus Perth Glory and Melbourne City versus Western United. Those take place on the 26th, so on Wednesday of this week. Both those games will be held in Sydney. Obviously, due to the whole corona virus thing. Over in the Champions League, and Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich should have just kicked off, but I can't see any live updates yet on that one. So, folks, I will bring you updates as to what the outcome or who wins the Champions League final tomorrow morning here on the morning sports briefing, because we come to you at 7 a.m. every single morning, 7 days a week. And I'm going to hand you over to Ashwin now, who's going to take us through our cricket update.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to all our viewers and listeners on the interweb. And yes, Pakistan have fought back. Pakistan fought back to make sure we see day 4 of the test match. Azhar Ali was the backbone, well, the only bone in the Pakistan innings with 141, although he was helped by Mohammad Rizwan, following up a score in the second test with a 53 overnight. Jimmy Anderson was the pick of the English bowlers, getting 5 for 53, just when they were talking about whether he was still had it or not. Stuart Broad picked up a couple of wickets towards the end, a couple of tail enders, and wrapped up the innings there. Pakistan will resume in the morning after England have enforced the follow-on, and we'll be hoping that the forecast comes through, because there is rain for the next 2 days, and that's what they will be hoping for. If there is no rain, pretty much sure that England should go through to either chase a little total to wrap up the third test, or they will basically bowl Pakistan out. And Colin Munro has scored 50, and Kieran Pollard fireworks at the end helped Trinidad Knight Riders through to 185 for 3. That's the highest score in the CPL so far this season. Pollard scored his 41 off 17 deliveries in a fourth wicket partnership that saw Darren Bravo also score a 50. All of the Barbados Trident bowlers who they were playing came in for a bit of tap. In reply, the Tridents got through to 166 for 6. The second match today is the Guyana Amazon Warriors against the St. Lucia Zouks. Australia short format squads have got together in Perth and are on their way to England. They will be following the West Indies, Ireland, and the current series with Pakistan, and they will be playing, which was happening at the moment. They'll be playing an ODI series and a T20 series. And overnight, more players have been inducted into the ICC's Hall of Fame. Jacques Kallis became the 4th South African to be inducted, while Lisa Sathlaker from Australia became the 9th woman to join the club. Rounding out the inductees was Zahir Abbas from Pakistan. The 73-year-old is Pakistan's 6th Hall of Fame inductee. And Paul, that's our cricket news for today.
You're listening to the morning sports briefing on New Zealand Sport Radio.
Thank you very much, Ashwin. I'm going to hand you over to Stephen, who's going to take us through our birthdays this morning.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning, everybody tuning in. Welcome to the start of a new week. The birthdays today are former All-White, a former Tall Black who represented New Zealand at the 2000 Summer Olympics, and finally a very dependable midfielder with the Blues, and that's where we don't start this morning, because we actually start with Hedemaya Harry Ngata, born this day, the 24th of August 1971, is a former New Zealand Association football player who played as a midfielder. Ngata scored New Zealand's goal in his full All-Whites debut, a 1-3 loss against Saudi Arabia on the 28th of April 1993. He was included in the New Zealand side for the 1999 Confederations Cup Finals tournament, and he ended his international playing career with 28 internationals caps and 3 goals to his credit. His final cap was as a substitute appearance in a 7-0 win over Vanuatu on the 13th of June 2001. Seems like a long time ago. Moving it right along, Peter Alfred Charles Hawkeye, or Peter Hawkeye, born this day, the 24th of August 1965, is a New Zealand former professional basketball player. He played in the National Basketball League, NBL, and competed for New Zealand Tall Blacks at the 1986 FIBA World Championship and 2000 Summer Olympics. In 1991, Hawkeye won the NBL Most Outstanding Kiwi Forward Centre Award and helped Hutt Valley Lakers win the NBL Championship. Finally, this morning, TJ Faiane, born this day, the 24th of August 1995, is a New Zealand rugby union player. He currently plays as a midfield back for Auckland and the domestic Mitre 10 Cup and for the Blues in Super Rugby. Faiane has a younger brother, Wise Guy, who helped his team, Waipu, win the Spark Business Hub Premier Men's Northland Club Rugby title on the weekend. And that wraps up our birthdays this morning. I'll be back shortly with our lead news.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And don't forget that you can get post-match interviews to that game up in the Northland Club Rugby Championship on our Facebook page. Just head over to New Zealand Sports Radio on our Facebook page, and Stephen was there at the game doing post-match interviews with the 2 captains. Moving on to golf then, and in the Women's British Open, Sophia Popov won at 7 under par, and she is ranked, or previous to this, she was ranked at 304 in the world. So you've got to say congratulations to her. That is obviously her breakthrough tournament, and yes, a very, very much surprised winner. Lydia Ko, unfortunately, faded away in the final round, where she shot 2 over par to finish 4 over par overall for the tournament, and finished off at tied 14th overall. Heading over to the Northern Trust PGA, and the final round is underway at the moment. Dustin Johnson has a big lead at 22 under par in that one, with Danny Lee currently, or when I last looked, is fourth. He's now been joined. He's now on tied 4th at 16 under par, 2 under par for the 4th round. On the 4th hole there, he's in tied 4th with Higgs, Rahm, and Palmer. But yes, Danny Lee following up a very good PGA Championship where he made it the final weekend with a good one here, and he's just moved to tied 3rd under with Schulfer. So we'll keep you up to date with we'll bring you tomorrow. We'll bring you the final result of that round, because he's only on the 5th hole, so plenty of golf left to go in that one. Going to hand you over to Stephen now, who's going to take us through our NRL update.
Yeah, thanks again, Paul. In league news this morning, the Warriors keep their very slim hopes alive. In other news, we also we also have the Newcastle Knights, they ease their way past the Newcastle, beg your pardon, they weren't playing themselves, they were playing the North Queensland Cowboys. And we look at today's table as well. Right, here we go. 3 second half tries by the Warriors have helped the New Zealand side defeat the bottom of the ladder. Bulldogs yesterday 2014. Canterbury took a 10-6 lead at halftime after a strong start, led by Jeremy Marshall King, Will Hopoate and Kieran Foran. 2 tries within a few minutes got the home team off to a flyer. Nick Meaney finished a sensational play in the corner off a no-look flick pass from Tim Lafayette. Moments later, Marshall King walked through a massive gap in the Warriors' defence around halfway before offloading to Foran, who scored under the uprights. Former Raiders Jack Murchie featured heavily on the afternoon, and it began with his first try in the NRL for the Warriors after winning the battle under a Cody Nikorima bomb just before halftime. Hopoate scored in his return from injury for the Bulldogs to open the second term, but then it was all the Warriors from there. In his 11th NRL game, Murchie helped set up New Zealand's next try and then scored a cracker for his second of the day. Adam Pompey, beg your pardon, bolted down the wing after an incredible flick pass by Murchie, which left the Bulldogs outnumbered wide. The Bulldogs were lulled to sleep by what was happening in the middle of the field, and when Murchie tipped it on, it was a free ride for Pompey to score. Following that super effort, Nikorima then found some space in the Bulldogs' defence, and Murchie was there in support. Roger Tuivasa checked score with 15 minutes left on the clock, extended the Warriors' lead to a converted try and sealed the victory despite a frantic finish by the Bulldogs late in the game. I will get to our next story shortly. It's the Knights versus the Cowboys. Well, the Knights eased past the Cowboys in a very low-scoring game by 12 points to 0 after leading 6 points to 0 at McDonald Jones Stadium yesterday evening. The Knights scored a try either side of halftime to Hamill Hunt in the 14th minute and Inari Tuala in the 77th minute, pretty much wrapping up the 2-try, 2-0 victory against the Cowboys. A couple of little incidents to come out of the game. Mitchell Pearce was sin-binned on the stroke of halftime, but in reflection post-game, he expressed pride in Newcastle's gutsy win in the tough conditions. I thought we started really well in the first half. We were just defending really so well. We knew the defence was going to get us home with a few injuries, according to Pearce. This game was played in very, very gusty conditions as well. There were a couple of yellow cards on the day as well. A couple of guys sent to the sin bin, which I'm going to get to in one moment. This contest was obviously not without drama. Obviously, Mitchell getting sent to the bin. Also, Cowboys big man Mitch Dunn was also sent to the sin bin for professional fouls being caught offside. There was also a high shot on Quinton Ponga as well, not Quinton Ponga, Kalen Ponga, by polarising Cowboys star Josh McGuire late in the game, and major injuries to Newcastle's. But Blake Green, the former Warrior, only playing his third game, and also an injury to Jason Tomalolo. So not a good way for those two teams to finish yesterday's round 15 games. And speaking of the round 15, we'll have a quick look at the table. So that win by the Knights keeps them firmly ensconced in 19th place. They've got a 3-point buffer lead on the table. That win for the Warriors just eases them back to 12th place and keeps them right in contention. But if we look at the top of the table, as previously stated, yesterday morning, the Panthers out there with 27 points, the Swans with 24, the Eels with 24. They're the top three at this stage to go. So we've only got, what have we got? 5 rounds to go. So it is pretty much all on. But we'll talk about it a little bit more on the standoff on Wednesday night with Brad and Sanjay. That's our league news for today.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for taking us through our league updates. Moving over then to the motorsport. And in the supercars, Scott McLaughlin had a fantastic weekend in Darwin because he won all 3 races at the Darwin Super Sprint, which has taken him past 50 all-time victories, and also means that he stretches his lead in the championship over there. Moving on to the Indy 500, and we are about about a quarter of the way through the IndyCar 500. Initially, Scott Dixon was leading. He led the first 26 or so laps, but under yellow card, as everyone dived into the pits to get themselves a quick refresh, he dropped down the order. Last time of looking, he is sat sixth overall, and there have been 3 cars have already retired. They're 40 laps also into the 200 lap race there. We'll bring you the results of that one again tomorrow morning. Yeah, lots of sports going on as we speak. Moving on to the ANZ Premiership then, and you've got to say the season leaders, the Pulse, had a fantastic first half where they took a dominant position. They won the first quarter 12-6 and the second one 11-7 to give themselves a big lead at half time. Whilst the Tactics made a bit of a comeback in the third quarter, it wasn't enough, and the Pulse won the fourth quarter as well to win that game 43-31. Some great defensive play by both teams in that one, but the Pulse were just so much better at making those turnovers count and getting the goals, or getting their shots off on goal. They had 48 attempts on goal compared to 36 by the Mainland Tactics, and so you can see, yes, that whilst shooting percentages for the Tactics were pretty good, it was just the actually were very similar to the Pulse. It was just the number of shots they managed to get away that really won that one for the Pulse. That makes them back-to-back winners in the ANZ Premiership. So congratulations to them. I mean, this has been a fantastic season for the Tactics, who, remember, went into liquidation or voluntary liquidation earlier this year due to COVID-19, and have managed to have been playing with a much smaller budget than other teams, and sort of come through to the final. So a good season for them. Moving on then to the basketball, and the Oklahoma Thunder have pulled one back against the Rockets. This one went into overtime, where the Thunder won 15-3 in overtime to win that one 119-107. That means it's now 2 games to the Rockets and 1 game to the Thunder in that best of 7 series for the first round in the finals. Also, the Bucks, Heat, and Lakers picked up wins as well. As we talk, the Celtics are playing the 76ers, and in the fourth quarter lead 96-83. If they go on to win this game, then they will have won their series 4-0. So yes, Boston going well there. Other side, the Miami Heat, Toronto Raptors also are 3-0 at the moment and can wrap things up with the next game. All of the other finals are 2-1 at the moment. So going tight there. Heading over to the Winter Games, we're still waiting for the Shred the Mountain results to see how this one is going to finish, and the overall editing of videos. But look out for the on the Winter Games NZ social channels, such as their Facebook page, because the Mountain Shred edits will be coming out over the next few days, and I'm sure there'll be wonderful pieces to watch. That's, I think, brings you up to speed with all the important sports news. Don't forget to join us again at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, so you can start your day the best way up to with the morning sports briefing. And we'll be back again this evening at 8 p.m. with the Driving Mall Show, so you can get your weekly rugby fix. Don't forget, we'll be bringing you results of that Indy 500, of the Northern Trust PGA, of the Champions League final, and the NBA results which are all happening right now live. There's plenty of sports on for you to start your morning well, but we'll bring you results of all of those tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone, and starting your week, and have a wonderful week.